Alright guys, before we get into the video, let's talk about futtrading.co.uk. Every single method you see in my videos can be found over on the website with buying and selling prices for almost every single card on the game. £10 a month gets you access to tier 1 buying prices. That's icons, special cards, silvers and Thursday flips. For £15 a month, you get access to tier 2. That gives you live filters, gold chem styles, UCL cards, and our amazing area of fluctuations where the market is continually monitored for highs and lows. You guys are then notified when to buy low and buy and sell high, basically. A really easy way to make coins. We've recently introduced a tier 3 thanks to you guys asking for us to develop a bot. Basically, we came up with a program and what it does is it pings you every single minute pretty much. I think it's every 3 minutes. You will get pings telling you when cards are low and what to sell those cards for. I'm going to show you an example of that now. I'll be right back. Alright guys, and this is the area of the Discord for tier 3 users. As you can see, it is pinging you guys with the current price of these cards and the live target sell price. You have to cross-reference that with what the sell price has been recently and use some of your own market knowledge, but this runs 24 hours a day to make sure you guys are getting continual deals that you can keep making coins from. The legitimate way, a new ping's just come up right there for new cards that you can go out right now, buy and sell. So check it out, get involved, futtrading.co.uk, but for now, let's get into the video. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. As always, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe down below and make sure your notifications are turned on so you never miss an upload. As always, check out the RTG. Over there, we've been doing silver pack method and it is ridiculously profitable right now. Probably still a chance for you guys to get involved in it. We always do see some sort of hit during Div Rival Awards and during the marquee matchups. Although I believe these upgrades end on the Thursday. So I'm interested to see how that's going to blend into the ultimate Tots. I'm assuming something big's coming for that, but we'll see either way. But this is sort of your weekly video on Thursday flips and how you make coins basically by doing very little and just chilling overnight. That's all we do with these cards. So again, I'm going to repeat what Thursday flips are because a lot of people on the comments down below message and say, do I buy these pairs on Thursday or Friday? And I tell you in every video, no, you do not. I don't know why it never gets listened to. But Thursday flips are cards that you buy on Wednesday, sometimes Tuesday, Monday. If you want it earlier in the week, you can. You buy them on Wednesday and you sell them into Weekend League as people build their teams once they've gone and got their picks and their packs from Weekend League rewards. So the whole point is you buy them when the market is lowest, which is usually on a Wednesday. Not always, but usually on a Wednesday. And then you sell them as they rise, as people buy them off the market to link to players they either get from picks or to link to players that they basically go and buy from the current Tots teams and stuff like that. For the last few weeks, the best places to have been looking have been in the leagues for the teams that have Tots teams. So Serie A when they had theirs, Bundesliga when they had theirs. I'm going to show you some examples over on Footbin of what did well last week and what I sort of said to you in terms of my thought process. And then give you an example of what you should be looking at for this week and how easy/hard it's going to be to link stuff up. And I think Ligue is going to be a bit different to other weeks. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so this is the Serie A Tots from last week, and if you remember, the areas that I said you probably would be worth looking were left back because Theo Hernandez was extremely expensive and difficult to link up to some degree, and potentially centre back because Skriniar's not really usable, Romero's usable without a doubt, De Vrij's usable, but linking them up isn't the easiest thing in the world, so I sort of let's look at centre back, and then outside of that, right mids like Perisic and whatnot did quite well as well, but this is where we're looking. So I want to just sort of show you basically where we're at with what happened last week. So Theo Hernandez, so obviously he's got a Tots card. This is his headliner card, and his climb all week was just significantly up all the way to Friday. He just rose. And the reason for this is, yes, Theo Hernandez is a great left back, and some people would have got him in picks. But that card is a 600,000 coin left back. It's a lot of money to spend on left back, and not everyone can afford that. But if you're getting picks from the Serie A, you may need to link it to a left back or want to link it to a left back. So Hernandez's other cards were going to do well, and that was true across all of his card types. So again, go from a low on the Tuesday he was lowest, which is 184 on PlayStation, 149 on Xbox, to a high of 262 on PlayStation, 219 on Xbox. It's a massive, massive rise in him. And even his 85 Europa League card, 124, 104 is lowest on the Tuesday. People started buying in on the Wednesday, which caused him to rise, and then Thursday into Friday, he absolutely rocketed. And so that's what you've got to think about when it comes to rewards this weekend is, yes, there are going to be loads of people getting Theo Hernandez, but not everyone's going to get him. Or for example, this weekend, let's say Mbappe is an example, but we'll talk about Ligue in a second. But they're still going to want to link them, and a lot of the time, the card types or the card versions lower than that type rise in cost. A lot of the time. because they can't afford to go and buy the Tots player. They buy the one below that because it links up. And usually they've had a couple of special cards to make them quite usable on the game this year. Centre-back wise, we'll have a little look at centre-backs. Tomori is an obvious one because he fits the meta this year. Everyone's running full-backs and centre-backs, but if you've got someone with 87 pace, 88 pace, you're relatively covered off. You haven't got to worry too much because they can pretty much do what a full-back and centre-back would do. And again, his rise all week was exponential, kept going up. I think I saw him at high on Xbox of 3, 4, 5 on the Friday into Saturday. Remember, these are only average prices in terms of what they were selling for. But he had a nice rise. But if you look at Bastoni, for example, only down. They didn't rise at all. Got overinvested, in my opinion, and didn't rise. And there's numerous reasons for this. One, he's quite cheap. People weren't realistically going to, like, loads of people going to buy him. And he's not one of those investments that is going to be like one person or two people doing and not screwing each other over. But also because people would have got De Vrij, Romero, people like that in their picks quite readily. And someone with less pace than those cards probably isn't going to get used that much. So he did dip off a little bit. And Chris Smalling, sort of small rise, like a decent little rise, but nothing incredible from him. And again, if you're looking at Smalling and thinking I'm going to pay 137k for him, he's English Serie A, you probably could just go and buy De Vrij. In fact, I think you can buy De Vrij for a very similar sort of price point. And not many people are going to pick up Smalling looking at the pace. Simple as that. They weren't going to do it. Some centre mids did quite well as well. Lucas Leiva, for example. A really infinitely usable card this as a defensive midfielder. It doesn't get the credit it deserves because of the pace on it, but it is very, very usable. It is a very good card. But again, his low on Tuesday, 58 and 61, before rising to 72 and 77. Even on Saturday, got me a little bit higher on Xbox. I bought a fair few of him just because I thought, in terms of linking an affordable CDM, Lucas Leiva fits that mould. And so that's what we looked at last week. This week, it's going to be a lot harder in my opinion. When you look at the Tots teams, a lot of the times you tend to look at where they've got a weakness in that team in terms of affordability. And striker is one for the Ligue, without a doubt. Mbappe, Yedda, Depay, they're all quite expensive. And obviously Neymar, if you want to convert him to striker. They're all quite expensive. So I think strikers from Ligue could do well. And we're talking the strikers below this, like Yedda's headliner, for example, could do relatively well. Depay's informs could do relatively well. Mbappe's gold card could do quite well. Neymar's gold card could do quite well. These sort of cards could do quite well, in my opinion, underneath them, because there's a lack of attackers in that league, and most of the best attackers in that league have got Tots cards right now, so not in packs. Central midfield-wise, though, you've got Paqueta and Andre. Both of these are usable centre mids. It doesn't mean that they won't go up in value, but again, if I'm sitting there thinking I'm going to buy a League and Tots centre mid, probably both of these are going to be quite high on my list of choices, because they're two of the best in that league. So am I really going to go out and think, do you know what, let me go and buy someone else? Not really. Left wing back, you've got Cal Henrique, infinitely usable, 58k. Right wing back Klaus, infinitely usable, 84k. Again, doesn't mean that you won't be able to pick up any sort of left backs or right backs from that league, but there aren't that many good left backs and right backs in that league in the first place. If we have a little look at the league and the left backs and full backs, this is how you have to think about these sort of things. Right back wise, you've got Sambia, and he could do relatively well. But my thing with Sambia is, are you going to go out and spend much more than you spend on him when you've got Klaus there? Sambia will rise, I'm certain he'll rise, but will he rise that much? In my opinion, not really. And then if we look at left backs for this league, realistically, your only viable option is Cal Henrique. The rest of them are bang average. And I think if you're gonna use a left back from that league, you're just gonna go and use him anyway, and he'll come down in price, being packed continually. And that's something to remember. If you want to buy your Tots, these sort of Tots, they're cheapest usually in and around rewards time on a Thursday before rising once they're out of packs on a Friday. It's something to be mindful of. But one place I think you could look is centre back. You've got Jose Font and you've got Marquinhos, okay? Now, the most important thing here to remember is Kimpembe is available as an objective, and realistically, you can just go Navas into Marquinhos into Kimpembe. But not everyone's going to go and do that Kimpembe card. Like, a few people will do it, not everyone will do it. So again, it's one of those situations here that I'd have a little look and see what centre-backs I see in the league, and I think, are they feasible to link? Are people going to link them up? And if you look at centre-backs this league, Marcelo potentially, Kimpembe, Todibo was at an SBC. There isn't that much in this league outside of that. And so I think Marcelo potentially could be a shout because he does link up. But I think if you're going to go and get Marquinhos, you'll probably just go and get Kimpembe done to link to him realistically. And so this is why I say it's a very weird league, because there's a lot of affordable options in this league. And a lot of stuff that you can just buy that you can link to each other. But what I would say is I would look towards linkable cards from other leagues this week. We've now had every single Major League Tots, and there's a lot of very good Tots in those leagues. And so if someone goes and gets an Andre, for example, they're not going to link that Andre to Mbappe, for example. It's not going to happen. but they may link it into other strikers, other French strikers potentially, or like other French wingers perhaps. Someone like an Alessandrini, they might link it into him because he's relatively affordable. He links into Andre, and you've got to try and think about who they link to in terms of price point. But I would be looking at some French guys from that. I'd be looking at where the French as a whole are weak and where there's not very many options because there's a lot of French cards in this. And if you look at France, we go position, let's go like right mid for example. For France, you've got Laborde, you've got Alessandrini, which is a brilliant card by the way. Dembele, there's not that many good options at right mid, so that's somewhere that I think you could potentially look at. If you look at left mids and left wings, again, you've got Pires, which not many people are using. Bamba himself. Then you've got Mbappe at 910k. Coman, 286 isn't a bad shout in my opinion if you've got a higher budget. But again, it's an area that they're quite weak in. And if you're going to link up left mids from France, this may be where you're thinking about linking up in my opinion. Because you've got to think about where the gaps are in the nations. Because a lot of these players are French. You've got what? Mbappe, Yedda, Andre, Klaus, Laborde, Bamba. There's a lot of French players as you'd expect for a French League One. But that's where I think you have to base some of your thought process on and maybe think outside the box a little bit this week. Because I don't think that this Tots really has an extremely weak link. I would have said centre-back if it wasn't for the fact that we had Kimpembe available as an objective. Right wing and Di Maria is fine. Again, the weak foot on him might put people off a little bit. That's why I think Alessandrini is not a bad shout. But there aren't really massively weak points. But I would say the attackers are a little expensive. So someone like a Yedda headliners, the Pies informs, they could do quite well. And the gold cards of Neymar and Mbappe relatively well as well. I do just want to have a little look actually and see what Neymar's gold card has done. I'm assuming he's gone up since he's been out of packs, but you never do know. Well, I mean, Neymar's pretty much held steady. So someone like a Neymar wouldn't necessarily be a bad shout in my opinion. Because, again, people aren't all going to get Neymar in their picks. But Neymar as a player distribution team, he's still infinitely usable. 5-star, 5-star, and still a very good card. People might want to link him up to Paqueta, for example, or Cal Henrique. And that's something I'd be looking at. But that's the end of the video. If you are new around here, as always, make sure you subscribe down below. Let me know what you plan on doing for your Thursday flips. Website subscribers, they are all on there for you, so you haven't even got to worry about that. But if you're new around here, do subscribe. Channel is growing all the time. I'm very appreciative of it. We're going to keep working hard. But for now, I am out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.